What are your thoughts on Billie Eilish saying no one is illegal on stolen land in reference to ICE and U.S. immigration policy?
I vehemently oppose this administration's use of ICE, but I also disagree with Billie Eilish here. I don't believe in wide-open borders where anyone can come and reside in this country. I believe in a fair and standardized immigration policy, a policy determined by the interest of that country's people, and a policy executed by leaders chosen democratically. With that said, enforcement of that policy should be done in a prioritized and humane manner, which this current administration under Miller has been egregiously ignoring. I hate this trope of stolen land. Every modern country was formed through blood and tears. That's just the reality of modern life. Every country is allowed to have security and secure borders and lawful immigration. Just saying this line reduces the efficacy of immigration reform movements to me, because now it's not about improving the process. We're now talking about why the process even needs to exist. That's not helping anyone.
I am a citizen of a Native American nation, as well as a citizen of the United States. I do not speak for all Native Americans. This is just my personal opinion. I really don't like it when non-Native people bring us into the immigration debate. To be frank, the vast majority of non-Native people really don't understand the complexity of the relationship between Native Americans and the United States of America. For example, Native American veterans and active military have a place of honor at powwows. This is our land, and we will always defend our land. Using the genocide of my people as a basis for deciding the immigration policies of the nation which conquered our nations, but is also the homeland for our peoples, doesn't really make sense to me.
And yet, when others stay silent, they're accused of only speaking for themselves while others are harmed. How many times have you read "The First They Came for the" poem in the last 10 years in relation to the political climate?
This slogan and sentiment was started decades ago by natives from tribes located within the U.S. border. It's a way for us to show solidarity while also pointing out the irony of white descendants of immigrants trying to pretend they have more right to be on this land than the indigenous people of this continent. I'm sure she'd disagree with herself if some indigenous ancestors decided to camp out on the land where her house is. This is where I am as well. A large group should move into her backyard. Reap what you sow.
Pretty much all land is stolen, if your definition is land that was conquered from someone else and not the first people. Society would crumble with open borders. She's just parroting the chronically online slogan as a virtue signal. I don't think her statement was helpful.
She can say whatever she wants behind security and luxury houses. Is she offering to house people? Otherwise, it's just words.
This is the type of hollow rhetoric that Ricky Gervais was talking about back in 2020 when he said celebrities at award shows lack the credibility to moralize about social or political issues.
All celebrities are Lord Farquaad in my eyes. They'll preach about rising up, but won't be on the front lines with the people. They live their privileged lives with round-the-clock security guards.
Bet she would be mad if I moved into her mansion that she has on stolen land.
It's always performative and always for personal gain. They could do a lot quietly, but they don't. Billie, in fact, said boycott Starbucks and then promptly went and purchased something from them.
Disagree. No country can have open borders, and that includes ours. But everyone deserves due process under the law and the Constitution, including those who are undocumented. And ICE is breaking the law and ignoring the Constitution. Hasn't ICE been trying to deport Native Americans? How does that work?
Because shortly after Trump became president, our United States Supreme Court ruled that ICE can use racial profiling to target anyone that's not white, regardless of whether there's any plausible evidence that they've done anything wrong.
We need to break down the definition of Native to them. Someone needs to tell ICE Native Americans were here before them. I think she's an entitled, uneducated, out-of-touch celebrity. Using her huge following to actually do something? I like her. I appreciate what she's trying to say in a single soundbite, and it worked in many ways. People are thinking and talking about it. But it is reductive.
all sound bites are, because when you go down that road, the rhetoric cancels itself out. All of human history has been about territorialism. Yes, even indigenous populations competed over land and resources, and still do. But in this American context of ICE and extrajudicial actions, I appreciate that she's trying to reframe the public discourse in the context of implied imperialism.
All land is stolen land. It just depends how far back you want to go. But as you say, it's a nice thing to say and gets people talking.
The intent is appreciated, but the statement itself is just plain dumb.
All land is stolen. Human history is basically a big tree of land theft. We currently live in a society which feels you shouldn't do that, which I agree with, and some people want to apply that moral value retroactively, which I don't agree with. The two issues are unrelated, and to pretend that they are is to massively oversimplify both. Land is still being stolen. The government tried to eminent domain some tribal land relatively recently for an oil pipeline.
I think she's trying to shift the focus from bureaucracy to humanity. For many, the concept of a person being illegal feels inherently wrong, especially in a country with such a complex history of immigration and land acquisition. It's less of a legal policy suggestion and more of a moral statement about how we view our fellow human beings as they move across borders.
Correct, it's a common sentiment that you'll see on bumper stickers and the like. It would be like if I shot my neighbor and his wife and kids to death and lived in their house for free, then started shooting at everyone who comes up to the for sale sign I put up.
It's kind of crazy when you take a step back that where you were born determines where you have to live your entire life. We have developed all these insane technologies to move around this planet, only to still base our politics on skin color, nationality, gender, and so on.
I am not a big fan of the illegal aspect, but it does paint a picture that no one has exclusive rights forever and a day based on some past relative. Nearly every person is an immigrant of some sort, and that even includes many of the natives when you start to go regional. We move around. That is what humanity has done since the start of time. I am a fan of the message she is suggesting, though.
I think this is a fringe belief for most Americans. People are not against robust border enforcement, which has been hit or miss at best for 50 years. The majority of Americans also support using immigration enforcement to remove people who don't follow our laws when they get here, regardless of what means they used to enter the country. If ICE and Border Patrol were doing their job as intended instead of finding new and exciting ways to violate constitutional rights, there would be no protests, and we wouldn't be talking about this statement.
Funny thing is, all land is stolen. There was always someone else here or there first, and the day your 1000th great-grandpa hit him in the head with a rock, you stole it. That is human history.
If the land is stolen, isn't everyone but those it was stolen from illegal?
It's just more performative virtue signaling from a celebrity.
A celebrity with a $2.3 million mansion with a fence around it that doesn't house any migrants tells the world that we're all on stolen land. How can anyone take these people seriously?
Let's not forget, these people probably have stuff set up to avoid most of their taxes, too. I'm sure she's very happy in her huge house that sits on the exact same stolen land, having gotten rich from the same system that stole the land in the first place, and being far removed from the negative effects of immigration. Twitter upvotes are cheap. It's a lazy argument anyway, since the people alive today aren't the ones who stole the land.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. Subscribe for more, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.